Hello, and welcome to another episode of Spoken Voices. Today, before I even get into that, I hope everybody's doing okay with this virus thing going around, and me and my producer is going to talk about a little bit of that today too. So my guest today is my producer, my wife, Maribel Ramos Brooks.
Hi.
What's up, Mom? How are you today?
I'm fine. I got my little sanitizer.
I see you have the Purell. You got the Purell.
Yeah.
We're running low though, and I think it's going to be hard for us to find it.
I know, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, you know.
So what do you think about what's going on?
I just think that it's sad. You know, it's sad what we're going through right now. Mm-hmm. So we just got to stay safe, you know, and just keep our hands clean. Just wash, you know, and make sure the products that we buy, we wash them. Mm-hmm. You know, we take good care of ourselves, you know. Right. But, you know, I personally don't, I feel like I don't think we need to panic crazy about it, you know. I mean, as soon as you hear somebody coughing, you're gonna jump.
But we do need to be vigilant, though.
Yeah, we need to stay alert.
We need to stay alert. We need to do what the CDC says and how to wash your hands and don't be in big groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we need to tell family members the same, you know.
Yeah, especially our young ones, to keep their little hands, you know.
Yeah, because I don't know how many times. I mean, I'm losing my mind with this though, because every time I go to touch my face, mm-hmm. after
you wash your hands.
Even after I wash my hands, mm-hmm. though, I will touch my face and almost freak out because I'll forget that I washed my hair.
Yeah, but I mean, there's so many things happening in the world right now. This is not the time to panic. This is not the time to fall apart. We need to just stay strong, and we need to stay together, mm-hmm. and we need to, you know, just make sure that we watch one another. I mean, it's very hard. I mean, I am a spiritual person. Mm-hmm. I read the Bible a lot.
Right.
You know, I love reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go religious today, but sometimes the things that the Bible says is so practical, and there's prophecies in the Bible that it's mm-hmm. really, it's what I kind of looked at the book of Luke, chapter 21, and it's amazing what I read. You know, it's amazing because it's happening now.
Right, but that scares the hell out of people, though. You realize that, right?
But we're talking about me.
But I'm talking about people, and I'm not just talking about you.
But I was talking about me.
Yeah,
I understand.
But I'm just saying that on a whole, right? Mm-hmm. People, biblical stuff, and
I know people don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it because it's scary. It's a scary proposition for.
But I'm talking
people.
About it because.
Well, it doesn't scare you.
It doesn't scare me.
It doesn't scare you.
I think that once you get the knowledge of what the Bible says, mm-hmm. me personally, mm-hmm. I think that it sharpens your mind. Mm-hmm. It gets you ready. You become more aware of certain things mm-hmm. because back in history, our ancestors, I'm talking about back in history, uh-huh. anyone who had a Bible mm-hmm. near them, they actually would die for that. You know, people got killed for this. And now, here we are, we have this beautiful, precious book, mm-hmm. and we don't read it, and we don't turn those pages, at least to help us to keep our mind straight. I mean, come on. I really appreciate what they did because now I have this book is free and we can mm-hmm. read it. I can go to a library and pick up these beautiful Bibles, you know, with pictures. They're just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And when I look at these pictures or when I read a scripture, it eases my mind. And sadly to say, we have a lot of people who are panicking. I mean,
we have a lot of people who don't, and I can appreciate that too. We have a lot of people who are not religious, yeah. right? Which means they don't go to church. But I'm spiritual more than religious. But I do read the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I wanted. You know, another thing I wanted to talk about is on that vein, our ancestors and stuff like that, mm-hmm. right? I always wondered what deity did, like Latinos, like from Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic, you know, and from South America and stuff, what deity did they worship before they got conquered by the conquistadors and the English and whatnot, in my case, and whatever, coming over as a slave and so forth. Mm-hmm. What deity did they worship and whatnot?
Well,
You ever wonder about that?
no, because me growing up as a little girl, we did worship. You know, I remember my aunts. They did worship. You know, how can I say it? How can I put it this way? You know, we're from the Tainos. You know,
Yes.
I have Tainos in my family. And I do remember growing up as a little girl.
Tell people who Tainos are. A lot of people probably don't know what Taino Indians are.
Well, these
They're
are
not even Indians. I'm just as stupid as Columbus. I got lost too. But Tainos are not Indian. Indians come from India and Pakistan.
yeah. These are just, you know, like Puerto Rico. I grew up in the rainforest. You know, I have family who grew up in the rainforest. And
But Tainos were the native people there before, you know, the conquistadors.
Yeah.
Spain came over.
I always, as a little girl, I always thought, you know, I always dream. I always say I have Indian inside of me. You know, I still say that. You know,
Yeah.
the Tainos.
But they're not Indians. though.
No, I know that.
Don't let me say that again.
No, I understand. See, why are we talking about history? I wanna talk about something else. You're gonna put me in this situation? Look
No,
at this
no,
table.
no,
This
no,
table
no,
look
no.
like we're in the news broadcasting.
Well, listen
place.
to what I'm asking you now, right? Because I think it's important. I think it's important because history teaches us.
Of course.
It teaches us stuff,
Yes.
and it gives a sense of pride.
And it's good to know about your history.
Yes, it gives a sense of pride to people who basically, at some point, was beaten down,
Yeah.
and our history has gotten lost
Yeah, well.
with the passage of time, where
Yeah, because
we have taken on a history that's not ours, you know, as a whole, and I say that because growing up in the Bronx, it's always been, for me, and for most people from New York City, the neighborhoods was always black people, right? And people and Latino people from the islands.
Yeah, but we also
Dominican
have
Rep-
whites there too.
Yeah, when I was growing up in the '60s, there were, right? They were store owners and stuff like that, but they didn't live in the neighborhoods. In the projects, the tenements that we lived in, it was mostly black and Latino people from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Right? So there's always been that bond. And as a child, I didn't know the history of the islands. I didn't care because these were just my friends.
So
and
how did
whatnot.
you know so much about Spanish? Because there's certain things you say in Spanish, or you understand certain things in Spanish. Like I had said some stuff in Spanish,
Google.
and I was shocked for you to know, and especially
Google.
when it comes to the salsa,
Right.
the music, the Latin jazz.
Well, it's jazz.
you
to
know
me.
stuff from history. I'm talking about back in 1930s. Stuff that
But
you're
you got-
teaching
but-
me.
But what I'm saying, this is why. Growing up in the Bronx, living in New York for as long as I did, and having to go back and forth to my aunt and grandmother, even when we moved to Connecticut, every summer I was back in New York City
Okay.
for the whole summer, right? Going into bodegas, right?
Right.
You heard music. Now my dad was a jazz guy. He was the Otis Monk, Miles Davis.
Bobby
You
Mato.
know, you wake up in the morning on a Saturday morning, he's blasting this music, right? And at the time, it was like, what the heck is this? As a little kid,
So
I didn't
you
know
grew up
jazz.
listening
So
to
I grew up listening to it.
Okay.
And as I got older, I started doing research because thank God we have Google, right? And I realized that the guys like Willie Colon and
Hector Lavoe.
not so much Hector Lavoe,
Johnny
because
Pacheco.
Johnny Pacheco and stuff like that. They played with Dizzy Gillespie. They played with these dudes. They played in those bands back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Yeah.
So that's why salsa is so. I mean, I love it because it is a mixture of jazz and, of course, African rhythms and
Yeah, but I actually believe that you gotta have parents to really keep that history going. You gotta have parents to be able to talk to their children and talk about the history of where they came from. Or
But why don't we though? Why don't we teach our children?
See, I can't
our
answer that
history?
for people. I can only answer for me. You know,
Well, why do you think they don't do? I know you do.
I don't, you know, I really wish I knew, but I really, okay, for example, let's just put it this way. When I listen to Latin jazz, let's just say Latin jazz, I love Afro-Cuban. So when I hear the band, like live music, I feel that. and I can relate to the person who's probably playing the congas. I can look at that person and feel the music, because that's the way I was brought up to dance. That's how, as a dancer, I want to feel that person hitting that instrument. So when I'm dancing, I want to communicate with that person. I want to communicate with the music, and it's live. Sadly to say, we don't have that anymore. We don't have live bands anymore. We have too much of these, okay, we got the technology, which is awesome, and we have all of these digital thingies, and the DJ have the music
beats and stuff like that, yeah.
And it's cool. And I think because of that, because we're living in a very different generation, and our young generation is totally different when we were growing up. Because,
see, but I don't think that's cool, though. I think if you're a musician and you can pick up a guitar, you can pick up a saxophone, a bass,
like
whatever.
me, I play the congas.
Right. If you can do that.
You want to hear me play the congas?
No, because you're going to start beating on the desk and you're going to look kind of funny on TV.
I don't care. This is my TV.
No, it's not your TV. It's your show.
I mean, the show.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
You made me mess up my thought, though. Stay with me.
Go ahead,
Stay
talk.
with me.
Talk.
Right.
Explain yourself.
When you teach salsa, right?
Yes.
And
Don't point. You got 3 coming back at you.
Whatever. Right. When you teach, how do you get your student, right? Like you said, you can feel the music, you can hear it.
Yes.
I mean, I can hear the music, and it's from here, right? It's from here, right? How do you get your students that don't know, they hear the music, but they really don't hear the music? How do you get your students to hear it?
Why are you gonna ask me that
and to feel
question?
it?
You cannot teach anyone to feel the music. You can't teach that person that, because it has to come within. When I teach my basic salsa, because I try to, when I teach the seniors, or I teach Safe Haven, because I love it's just been, I've been doing that for many years. What I try to tell them is, I don't start with the steps. I don't. I truly believe that 1, 2, 3, and I truly believe, I don't know, it's just, you're not teaching your student anything about the music.
The basics, if you don't teach them the basics.
The basics.
Right.
So, what I'm trying to say is this, you gotta feel it. You wanna teach your students about the history of salsa. You wanna teach them about the different musicality. You wanna, because you could teach a person how to dance salsa, but if you don't teach that person what the salsa is basically about, or what the music is about, how are they gonna know what to dance to? You don't, I don't know. To me, I find that, I just want to be able to teach a student about the style and show them the steps, and then give them that space where they can feel comfortable, but play different type of music, like guaguancó. There's so many different salsa music, and you want to introduce those music to the students. And when I teach students how to dance salsa, I make sure that they understand that, salsa is a beautiful thing, and is to be respected, and to be able to enjoy it and share it and be kind. It's not about being, who's better than who, and who dances better than, no. I feel my own opinion is, just teach someone to understand the history of salsa and the music.
Well, it's supposed to be fun anyway. I would assume. I mean,
it is fun. The girls love it.
We've been to Salsa Congress before. We've gone to Puerto Rico for one. What I found is that it was a lot of competition. It was really catty,
and it still is.
With the women. It got really catty. It's like you're almost hold on a second. This is just no. I didn't say everybody, but listen to what I'm saying.
But I know you've seen some.
You have women that almost look like they're about to kill themselves on the dance floor to outdo the next person. That's insanity.
I've seen the guys, because there was one. There was one guy who was dancing, and he asked me to dance, and I said okay. I went up on that floor with him, and he was dancing like he wanted to be on a show. So I looked at him, and he was throwing a show out there. So I just looked at him and I said, okay, bye, and just walked away. Because if you want to dance with somebody on a social party, you want to enjoy the dance, enjoy the chemistry. But sadly to say, now we got people who, because of the corona thing, everybody, they just shut everything down. Everything is it's totally different now, you know.
Well,
Everybody
just started though. I
doesn't
mean, we
wanna-
don't know how long this is
There's
going to
no
be.
crowd together.
Do you still? Is that still something you want to do?
What,
though?
salsa?
No, teaching, not. you
No,
know,
I still love teaching. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
still
but I
love-
love what I'm doing here. You know, I don't like this table. This table's too huge. But
Okay,
anyway,
we've regressed back to the table, right?
yeah, look how big this table is.
Okay, let's have a
We gotta change
conversation.
this table.
Let's have a conversation about the cashew table, okay?
Look how huge this is.
Anyway, getting back on course, if we may,
What's that?
right? The thing I want to talk to you about too, as I was saying, the connection between Black and Latino people.
Yes.
How come you think it's such a strain now? I mean, I looked at something on Facebook, and there was this guy, and he was talking about, he was a little bit darker than me, but he was Latino. He was from South America, and he was talking about how he identifies with both and how he's very proud of being both. And the responses I was reading, there were some Latino people, like, I'm talking about going in on this guy. I mean, like
Why?
because he was actually saying, they were like, hey, you're Latino, you're not Black.
What was he saying?
What he was saying, that he understood his culture. He understood his ancestry.
Okay.
And whatnot. And like I say, anybody can find their ancestry as far as where they're from.
Okay.
You know, Google. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And then they have those little things you spit on and you mail it to God
that's-
knows where.
That's another thing that you can do though. But I'm getting feedback from that those things are not accurate and they're just making up stuff. But anyway,
Okay,
if you
but that's
Google
your opinion.
if you Google the history of any place, it tells you the background. We know,
Okay.
right, from the islands, right? I found out the other day that the Taino Indians was on every island, from Jamaica, the Bahamas, and whatnot. And slavery, of course, the slaves were dropped off there too. They intermingled with the Spaniards and the Taino and everybody else, and that's why there's such a beautiful mix of people on those islands. And like I was telling our son, who's over in Puerto Rico now, right?
Having a great time.
I told him, I said, you will find the most beautiful people over there because they look so exotic. They look so different than everyone else. They have a certain look about them. Jamaica's the same way, and the island.
Cuba is beautiful.
Cuba also.
Yeah, they got some beautiful girls. You know, beautiful culture, and it's just
Yes.
a beautiful thing. You know,
It is.
But sadly to say, not to. You know, it's you know, I truly believe we're all equal.
We are.
the same people. You know, we just got different flavor. You know, we all have that different sabor. You know, that.
Yeah.
Sadly to say, not too many people like us.
What do I
know?
always tell you though? The funny thing is people talk about race and stuff like that, and there's only one race.
Yeah, but
It's
you know
human.
what I love about us, that we don't. You know, we just don't even bother with that.
You just went over that, right?
Yeah,
What I
it's
just
like
said.
we
There's
always
one-
want to keep it positive,
It
and
is,
be happy.
but how more positive can that be?
Right.
It's only one race. It's
only
human race.
right.
It's Homo
It's
sapien.
only racist if you allow it. If it happens, we need to say to
You
them.
lost me.
We need to nip them and say, oh, hold up, no, we're not accepting that. Because I'm saying this now because I went through an experience, you know, and I live here in Southbury, and I'm going through this experience where I have people who are telling me that I don't belong here, you know, that I shouldn't be here, and I was harassed and I was also threatened, and I can't believe that's still happening to this Puerto Rican. I'm half Black too, and I'm proud to be Black, and I'm proud to be Puerto Rican, and I'm proud to be here too because I have a platform. So those of you who said that to me, well, guess what? Hello, I'm in your living room.
My thing is this, though. Like I said, we're all human and whatnot. Because I was telling one of the kids something. I said, if I get sick, right? Like I have diabetes, right?
Okay.
I don't have Black diabetes. I just have diabetes, right? And if you cut a person open and do an autopsy, I don't care where they're from, their organs are the same as every other human being on this earth. The only person that is an alien, if we are so lucky to be visited by somebody from another planet.
Yeah, wouldn't that
You know,
be?
we're all
weird?
the same. and I think sometimes it's I've tried to raise my children to understand
Our children.
All right, whatever, right? Our children, right, to understand there are going to be pitfalls because of who they are, but always remember that they need to be the best that they can be,
Be good
but
kids.
no better than
Anybody else. That's right.
You know, and that's the way I try to raise the kids.
But they have to nip some stuff, you know.
Well, they have to. I don't want them to, you know, they say turn the other cheek, but if you turn the other cheek, a lot of times you get smacked in the other cheek.
Oh, no, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that.
No, I don't mean literally.
No, I know.
You know, it's figuratively speaking.
But, you know, again, going back to, you know, the corona thingy, I think that, we have to be, just be alert, but yet still be happy, you know, that we can move on forward, you know, and if things are not the same the way it was, find things to make you happy, you know, keep your mind going and take nice walks, you know. Now the weather's getting nicer,
Right.
you know. Take your little babies, your doggies, take a walk.
But
you
don't
know.
touch anybody as you're walking.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so, you know, just be positive, you know, and, you know, just be happy and just move forward.
What are you going to do, though? I mean, what are you going to do actually?
Well, I know.
No, not you. I don't mean you literally.
But you're pointing at me.
I was being rhetorical.
Oh, okay.
Right? What are you going to do? It's a virus. It's part of being on this planet.
Yeah, but this is a scary virus.
These things happen.
No, this one here is the worst.
It's the worst that we know of. There was the Black Plague. There was Ebola. There was. Remember? Do you remember HIV when it first came out?
Yeah, that was
Right.
back when.
Do you remember how crazy people got
know,
with that?
I know,
And
yeah.
and the CDC and doctors were telling you can't get it by talking to someone.
Having a conversation,
You can't
yeah.
get it from touching somebody.
Yeah.
That still didn't resonate with a lot of people, where people in that community was being demonized
Yeah.
and basically avoided. We tend to freak out on anything that's different.
Yeah, well-
Now, it's okay to be cautious. It's okay to take precaution, but don't lose your mind. I was talking to somebody today, and before we got here, and Costco told me Costco was basically sold out of almost everything. Costco.
Well, they want to be clean.
No,
People just
it
wanna make
wasn't.
sure they
It
have all
wasn't
their
just
stuff.
cleaning stuff. It was meat.
Oh, really?
It was food. It's gone. Unless you have a big freezer, it's going to go bad. You just wasted your money. It's
Well,
insane.
Costco
It's insane.
made a lot of money.
They did. They always do.
But
just have to be careful.
There's something that you don't. There's something that worries me, and I'm trying to just move forward, just to stay positive, because I'm trying to work on my short film, right? And I kind of noticed, and I said, wait a minute, now I'm hearing that New York City, there's a lot of things happening in New York. My favorite TV shows are changing now. Now they don't have audiences. And one of my favorite show is Wendy Williams. I love her.
Why?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love her. So anyway, I why? Because she's always happy, and she's always, she speaks her mind, and I love the way she interacts with people. And I know that she's saddened because she doesn't have those same people, the people that are there to root for her, and not just to root for her, but they're there to support her, and we don't have, it's like everybody just disappeared. Everybody's not around anymore, and we need to stay focused. And I love the fact that she's staying focused, that all these TV shows are staying focused, all the morning shows, and all these beautiful women who are out there doing their thing, and they're still coming out, and they're still sitting there, and they're still doing their thing. Like The View, I love the women there in The View. Oh my God. And when I look at that, I say to myself, I gotta push myself, I gotta do the same thing. And I know that with the short film, I have to continue working on that, especially working on trying to find a way how to do the campaign. But what worries me is that I'm not gonna I was thinking maybe I won't be able to go out and do this film because now everybody's scared. I have TV producers, some people don't wanna come out anymore, they don't wanna come out. So here I am, I'm by myself. So. But I'm still staying focused. I'm still working on my project. I have people in Virginia who wants to come and help us out with this film. And so it's just a matter of me saying, I'm not gonna let this thing hurt me from trying to do what I need to do to be able to inspire other people,
Of course.
especially when it comes to children, especially domestic violence, because domestic violence, it to me it's not out there too much. You know,
What you mean, information?
not just information, but there's not a lot of support. You know, there's too much things being hidden. It's not being exposed, is what I'm saying. You know, I don't hear too much about it. All I hear is people dying. What happened to these children? You know, especially the last little kid that I know, I
Well,
try
we-
not to get too emotional,
well,
but it's just that we need to focus on what we really want to do. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe we need to. One of the shows that we do, we need to
Talk about domestic violence?
Maybe bring somebody in that is an expert on it, as opposed to us just basically giving our opinion.
Yeah, but I'm talking about my short film.
But maybe I'm talking about the show for a second. Give me a second, right? Seriously, on a serious note, we need to get somebody in
Yeah, I understand that.
to talk about it.
I gotta find
I think
somebody.
because the more we get it out there, I think the more we can.
And definitely, that's what I would
more
like to
the
do.
people have information.
That's what I would like to do. I want to have somebody here too to talk about it.
Okay, well, maybe that'll be the next show, but we'll see. But for right now, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. And like I always say, man makes plans, God smiles. Guys, take care of yourselves, take the precautions that you need to, and we'll see you on our next show. Take care and have a good weekend.